Hello and welcome to another Ask Coach Cam where I answer your burning fat loss questions. Earlier in the week, I asked people for their questions, and this week's set of questions is what we have. If you want, you can ask questions while I'm streaming, and I'll try and get to them at the end. If not, I'll be sure to try and include them next week. As you can hear, my voice isn't great, and that kind of, well, England crashing out of the Euros is part of it. I've also been moving all weekend, as you can see by the new background and empty shelves. So got very little sleep doing that, and then going a bit crazy and shouting during one of my Steel Viking sessions, which is something else that I run. So you'll have to forgive me for the raspy voice this week. I'll try and keep this week short and punchy. And we'll look to have a better stream next week, eh? So, without further ado, let's get on with some questions. This week's first question actually isn't a question that somebody submitted. It is something that somebody I know posted on their wall on Facebook, but it's a very common thing that I see, and basically it's a common frustration, which is that kind of feeling fitness slipping away during times where we've got loads of work going on. Perhaps we're not eating our best as well, all those kind of things. And I just wanted to start off by talking a little bit about that. And to be honest, I've had exactly the same journey. I've gone through the same thing. So hopefully by saying what I've gone through, it helps other people out there going through that same sort of period. And for me, I mean, you can see in the very corner of the screen there's my American football jersey from uni. I did lots of working out at university. I did actually have periods of injury where I got fat and then I had to lose weight again, getting healthy and back on the team. And, you know, I used to work out when I was fit and when I was able to. I was working out quite a lot. Even after university, I was able to work out quite a lot, had the energy, had the time. I mean, that's one thing uni kind of gives you. You kind of largely control your own schedule. Even in engineering degrees like me, where you've got a lot of contact hours, there's still a lot of gaps in there where you can fit in a workout, things like that. But then university finished, that period of time in my life finished. I started loads of businesses. I was doing easily 80 plus hour weeks, and I got fat. And then the struggle was, okay, I know what to do. I did it at uni. I've lost fat before. I just need to, you know, go to the gym 3 times a week and maybe go on a couple of runs and sort out my diet. And then you keep trying and it keeps not happening. You keep not going to the gym. You keep not doing it. And you keep telling yourself, I'll just be more motivated next week. I'll just be more motivated next time. And this is something that I address on my course. I prefer people remove the word motivation from their vocabulary because it's not very useful at all. We've all done that. We've all said, I'll just be more motivated. Next week, I'll just be more motivated. Tomorrow, I'll just be more motivated. That's not helpful or useful because guess what? Tomorrow, we're not more motivated. Or if we're wholly reliant on motivation to do anything, then we're just going to, you know, as soon as a tiny bit of hardship happens, that's it. Our motivation's gone and we're not going to the gym. We want to be able to exercise, to go to the gym fairly regularly, okay? So we don't need more motivation. What we do need is a new solution, a new system that works for you. And maybe part of this is ego. Maybe part of it is being stuck in the old ways, but it's recognizing that those aren't working anymore. If you're telling yourself, I just need to go to the gym after work, and it keeps not happening, it's not that you're not motivated enough. It's that system is no longer working for you. Okay, so you need a new system. You need to figure out something new. So you have to take that hit to the ego and go, okay, square one. We're starting from square one. How do I form this new system? How do I form the habits that help me work out and exercise? And all of that is all about I mean, it's in the name of the 1% way. It's all about starting with that smallest possible change that you can make, the smallest possible change. So that could be, okay, the gym isn't really working for me anymore. It's a 15-minute drive. It's 15 minutes back. That's already half an hour that I don't have. I'm going to do some home workouts. So what are the small, tiny changes that I can make? Well, number one, if you're working from home, you can wear workout gear. Don't put on office gear. Don't put on, your pajamas. Put on workout gear in the morning. That way, as soon as you have a break, you can do a workout. The first workouts you do, just do 5 minutes. Do 5 minutes, but have something planned. And do that consistently. Once you've done that consistently, then you can move on and you can increase the time. All right. So it's all about starting with the smallest possible change. You might not even do workouts, right? Okay. You might struggle with the first step, which is putting on workout gear in the morning. Form that habit first. Get it cemented. Get it in your brain. Make sure that you're doing your washing. Okay. That might be the first habit. Oh, I never have any workout gear because I don't do my washing on time. Form the habit of doing your washing. That's the place to start. That's the smallest possible step of doing the washing. And then we can move on and move forward, and then we can start to increase that time, and we can become more and more effective and not lose that fitness. And we can go forward from there. So, I mean, I could go on, but I feel like hopefully that's a succinct way to put it. It's just about those small, tiny steps and making those. So yeah, thank you. I'll keep that person unnamed, but I hope you take some of that advice. Maybe some of it works for you, maybe some of it doesn't, and that is if you're listening. But otherwise, I hope that helps someone else as well who's going through the same sort of thing. Okay, next question. Next we have Rebecca, who says, "I want a flat toned tummy. Why aren't my sit-ups / crunches doing the job?" Okay, so for flat-toned tummy, for most people, what we're actually trying to do is we're trying to see our abs, okay? We're trying to see them. And for the vast majority of people, that's naff all to do with how developed your abs are. It's to do with your current percentage of body fat. So if you want to see abs, you need a lower percentage of body fat. We can also talk about what's healthy, particularly the difference between men and women. Women should have a higher body fat percentage than men, and that's a percentage of body weight. They should have a higher body fat percentage by virtue of being female and all the things females have to do and ovulation and all this kind of stuff. Okay, but women should have a higher body fat percentage, and the reason you're probably not seeing abs is you just need to get lower body fat. So to get lower body fat, you just need to do anything that reduces body fat. So you could go for walks, things like that. That's why, if you're just doing endless crunches, you're probably not seeing any results because you need to do more fat loss activities. So that's one place to start. The other thing is crunches, just like a bicep curl, will make your bicep bigger, okay? It will make your abs bigger, which may even mean distending them out, okay? If you ever watch World's Strongest Man, those guys have really good core strength to lift the weights they do, and you'll notice their stomach is slightly distended outwards, okay? By doing loads of ab exercises, you may be making your abs push your stomach out, okay? Which is not flattening your stomach. Particularly, you see this with a lot of guys. They're actually pushing their stomach out instead of just losing body fat. So crunches, just like a bicep curl, will make your ab muscles bigger, physically bigger. Now, if your problem is you're fairly confident you have a fairly low body fat percentage and it's a healthy body fat percentage and you still can't see abs, it may be that your abs are underdeveloped. So doing some crunches and sit-ups and some ab workouts will help out. The other thing that's also going to help out in that core strength, and I mentioned World's Strongest Man already, is doing those compound exercises, those compound lifts. So those deadlifts, those squats, they all engage your core, they all engage your abs if you're doing them properly, okay? So that's another reason why I like to focus on those big compound lifts, because not only are you working the main muscle group, you're usually also working your core as well. So So that can help develop your abs. Number 3 is we can also do TVA exercises. So TVA is our transverse abdominals, and they are the abdominals that go around our stomach like a belt. Okay, they're almost like a weight belt around our stomach. And developing these muscles can actually have a little bit of a cinch effect, pulling stuff in. If we develop those, I'm not gonna because this is a sat down thing. I'm not going to go through any TVA exercises on here, but you can give them a Google. There's loads of stuff up there, loads of good videos. Athlean X does a good one on TVA stuff. Okay, so there's guys out there with some great exercises on TVAs. And lastly, I also recommend more back and posture exercises, okay? Because these are going to pull your shoulders back. They're going to make you stand taller. So if you imagine you're kind of hunched over, you're creating those pockets of fat, okay? If we're stood taller, if we've got our shoulders back, and because we sit a lot all day anyway, it's just generally a good idea to make sure you're getting plenty of back exercises into your routine. That will have the effect of creating that flatter stomach if you just stood up taller. Okay, so what did we have there? We had number 1 problem for most people is fat loss, body fat percentage. So do literally anything, any activity where you'll lose fat. Crunches and things may be making your abs bigger, which could be pushing your stomach out a little bit rather than keeping it flat. So consider making it, especially if you're doing a lot of ab exercises. You do not need to do a lot of ab exercises. Once a week is already more than enough. I'd actually recommend just shoving 1 ab exercise. If you really want to do ab exercises and you feel like your abdominal area is underdeveloped, then yeah, add on an ab exercise at the end of your other workouts. If you're doing 3 to 4 gym workouts a week, just add on an ab exercise at the end of each one, and that will help you develop rather than having a separate ab session, because that will help you lose fat as well. Then we've got TVA exercises, and then we've got back and posture exercises as well to help you stand up taller. Okay, so thank you for that question, Rebecca. I hope that's a good punchy response. Well, I'm not very good at being punchy, am I? But I hope that helps you out. Moving on to the last question we've got today. Last question. This is from John. I've been trying to get in the gym 3 times a week, but I just can't form the habit. What am I doing wrong? Well, first of all, I'd love to know more, John, about what you're currently trying. I don't know what your situation is. I don't know really what you're struggling most with, but I will do my best with a sort of general response. And I think this starts with habits are really not what people are advertising them as, okay? You know, people say going to the gym 3 times a week is a habit. That's not a habit. That's a goal. That's an aspiration. That's an action even. It's not a habit. It's not a habit, okay? A habit, by definition, kind of has an automatic element to it. It's something that we devote very little brain power to, okay? So if you think like biting your nails, you don't even realize until you're halfway through, okay? Something like smoking is a good one because it's so addictive. There is a chemical component to something like smoking, but the habit is still formed, you know, whenever something's stressful. Sometimes the trigger can be as simple as people who smoke when they put the kettle on, something like that. That flicking the switch of the kettle triggers that habitual response to smoke, and they then get the urge to smoke. It's like an example I use on my course is like smelling a pasty on the train, and going and getting a pasty when you get off at your stop. Every train station in England seems to have a Cornish pasty shop, okay? So we smell someone else's on the train, and it's automatic before we even really thought about it. And then as well, when you start to reinforce that habit, it then becomes every time you smell a pasty, you get that urge to go and get one, okay? So a lot of those were specifically bad habits, but they're so hard to break because they are automatic. But we can also do that positively. We can do that with good things, and that's what a habit is. A habit is forming those little cues, those cues and responses. So going to the gym isn't really the habit, okay? Once we're in the gym, we tend to do our planned workout. Most people have this phenomenon. It's not that when they get to the gym, they just walk in through the door and then turn around and walk out. That's not something that happens a lot. Usually you'll do so. Sometimes you'll feel demotivated and you might not push yourself as hard as you want to, which, to be honest, is still fine. Especially when it comes to fat loss. Even if you're if you're really out of it, just doing half an hour and maybe going through the motions a bit is still getting you out of your chair. You're still in the gym. You're still working out. Okay, and we all have those days. We all have those bad workouts. Okay, so. Being in the gym is not the problem. It's getting to the gym, and it's all those little tiny habits. Again, it's those little tiny steps that lead us there, that get us in the gym. Okay, so what is it? Do I need to form the habit of packing my bag? And again, what's the cue to packing my bag? Is it, I've finished my tea or dinner for you Southerners. I finished my tea. I have a decaf cup of coffee, and then I put my stuff in the wash, okay? Or I pack my gym bag, and having that kind of, it sounds very regimented, but then having those strong cues, all of a sudden, maybe you do it when you put the kettle on. You can do the same as the smoker I was talking about earlier. That kettle going on is the trigger. Okay, time to pack my bag while I wait for this to boil. You pack your gym bag. Again, forming the habit on whatever day is your wash day. Make sure forming the habit to do your washing. Form those strong cues, okay? It's not just enough to say, I'm going to do my washing. You need to have a cue. God, I wish I had James Clear's Atomic Habits thing up. I can't recall all the 4 elements to forming a habit off the top of my head. But one of them is having a strong cue, having a strong time. I'd say the cue, time is good, but I'd say having a stronger cue, having an action create another action, is the best way to form a habit. Having a scenario create an action, is the best way to form a habit. So yeah, packing that gym bag. Again, we got very simple ways. You might not even have to form a habit. If you get up in the morning and you put gym clothes on, that's a habit forming that you've had to remove. If we take gym out of the equation and say going for a run, okay, well, what helps us get out for a run? Sometimes it's putting on those running shoes. You may, for a week, going back to those small tiny steps, it may be for a week you just put your running shoes on and then take them off. So you get dressed for a run, you put your running shoes on and take them off, and that, you tell yourself, that's all I have to do. Now you may find that getting dressed up and putting your running shoes on, you're like, well, I'm all dressed up and ready to go now, so I might as well go for a run. Do it, but also start with that smallest step. That's all you need to complete that week, is that smallest. Just put your running shoes on at a specific time, form that habit, and before you know it, you'll be getting home from work, going straight upstairs. You won't be sitting down on the couch because you've formed the habit. Okay, another one for healthy eating, another good habit is, let's say you get home a bit later than other people. You get home 7-8 o'clock, so it's about time for tea or dinner. A good habit to form to make sure you cook for yourself instead of ordering takeout or cooking something bad is the first thing you do when you get in the house is turn the oven on, okay? And then once that oven's on, we start to do the rest, okay? It's that domino effect. We push that one small domino and we complete all the rest of the actions. So it's all about those are habits, those small tiny things. It's those small little tiny steps that are nearly impossible to fail, okay? And we want to do them consistently. We're going for consistency here, okay? So rather than setting the goal, I'm going to go to the gym for an hour every day, you're probably going to fail at that if you've not been going to the gym at all prior to that, okay? The habit instead is, I'm going to get dressed to go to the gym every day. okay? And even if you don't go to gym, it's still a big old tick, and that's that thing. And that's how we can form those habits going forward, and make those adjustments to our day. That's part of what these habits are about. It's those adjustments to our day that are automatic. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to motivate ourselves by taking away the thought process. We're taking away the requirement for motivation, okay? And we're just going through the motions, and we just automatically do it. We find ourselves halfway down the street before we're like, hey, I didn't even really feel like running today, but somehow I'm already here, okay? That's what habits are. Habits are not what a lot of PTs, healthy habits, you should be going to the gym 3 times. That's not a habit, that's just an action. It's not a habit by definition. And I mentioned it there briefly, is James Clear's Atomic Habits, one of the best books on habit formation. So I highly recommend reading that and seeing how you can integrate that into your fat loss plan, okay? The last thing I would mention is, do you enjoy the gym? Okay, are you not going to the gym because you absolutely hate it? In which case, maybe the gym isn't the best way for you to increase your activity for fat loss. And another pursuit that you actually enjoy, that is easy to do, is the answer. Again, we want to make everything so easy for us, it's nearly impossible to fail, okay? So if you really love, I occasionally use the example because it's a bit zany. If you love sword fighting, go sword fighting 3 times a week. Why are you going to the gym if you hate it? That's not the most efficient solution for fat loss. We need to do things that we enjoy. You need to do things that you look forward to, okay? Fat loss, it's all about these lifestyle changes. If you hate the gym, do you really, for the rest of your life, want to be spending hours and hours in the gym when you absolutely hate it, okay? I only go to the gym because I like it. I like lifting heavy things. I don't know, maybe it's a male ego thing. I've talked a couple of times about ego today. I don't know what it is, but I like the gym, okay? For other people, they hate it. They don't like the gym. For other people, they hate running, okay? Whatever it is that you hate, don't do those things, okay? Do things that you enjoy. It may be you have to take up a new hobby, try something new to find things that you enjoy, but either way, actually, I've seen someone as well getting loads of workouts in with a VR headset. So if you're a big gamer and all those kind of things, there's now technological solutions to get moving more, okay? Would your money be better spent on buying an Oculus rather than a year's gym membership? And answer honestly. Be honest with yourself. Is that a better place to spend money? Are you actually gonna lose fat more readily through doing that? So do things that you enjoy. These are lifestyle changes forever. This is not a case of you go to the gym for 3 months and then you're sorted and you never have to go to the gym again, or you just have to go to the gym 3 months out of the year. Not a good solution. That's not the solution we're looking for. These are sustainable changes, sustainable lifestyle changes. It's the reason I'm not a PT in a gym. For a lot of people, the answer is not the gym. So stop looking to the gym. Stop looking to pounding the pavements or running. If anything, running is, especially if you hate it, running is a subpar solution for fat loss. We know this. There's countless studies on this that running is not the best solution for fat loss, okay? But activity is. So if you love running, keep running, okay? There's maybe a few caveats to all of these things, but do what you enjoy. If there's one message I can get across, it's do activity that you enjoy, okay? Do things that you love, and then they're going to be easy to do, and you're going to lose fat easily, okay? Okay, so those are those 3 questions. I said I'd try and keep it shorter and punchier. I haven't really managed that. But yeah, I hope that's helped some people out there, especially our question askers. Share this with your friends or in any groups if you feel like it will help them. Make sure you subscribe and hit any notification bells. Or head over to the website www.the1percentway.com to subscribe over there and get alerts and get anything new that I'm doing, or offers, anything like that. Good luck on your fat loss transformations, and I'll catch you next week. Same time, same place. Goodbye.